Hello, Warriors. Getting a nice reversal day in the metals. Made new lows last night in gold. Silver bottomed yesterday. Been talking 1580 for a long time. We got to 1575. Doesn't make me a screaming, raging bull, but maybe we get back to 1630, and gold had such a big break from 1310. Why can't we rally back to 1270 or so? And the market tell for that, I was talking to some traders over the weekend, and what told me this could happen was what happened in some of the shares. You know, it's my philosophy, and I was taught that shares bottom before the market. And here's the junior golds. This was Friday. This was Friday. So I was looking for a new low in the metals and a higher low in the shares. So when gold was making new lows yesterday, we got a higher low here in Nugget. Those are the juniors, and the seniors are GDX. Even more powerful. Higher low while gold was making a new low. It should have a good day here. So I knew after this day on Friday in the shares that even if gold made a new low, it was somewhat unlikely for the shares to make a new low. So you don't have to agree with me. I just want to make sure you see it. Just a little something else you could put in your trader's tool chest. If you're a precious metals trader, you have to keep an eye on the miners. You guys have noticed me talking about the miners for a year and a half or so now. Everyone get it? Give me a Y if you do. Okay, something else that's manifesting. Talked about this last week, had multiple opportunities to put it on. I don't know if we're going to get another new high on it now, but it was USD SEC. No, you're not going to get another chance to put it on. I said right here, take a picture. Tried to make a new high yesterday, was a failing rally. Nice little 3-drive. Anyone catch it? Talked about it, I think it was when we were here. Said I had a little work to do. Only took another couple days. This was it. And then yesterday we failed to make a new high. Dixie lower, was lower yesterday, lower again. So the Dixie scenario is on. What is a little surprising is that the euro is weaker than the pound. And also, just to wrap it up here, was talking about a rally maybe back towards 2752, put in a higher low in the S&Ps. Same with NASDAQ, looking for 61.8 here. NASDAQ's acted better in the last couple of days compared to it led the way down, so maybe 71.88. I was thinking this wasn't going to happen until mid-month. We could be there the next couple days. I view it as a shot for a shorting opportunity. And if the Dixie keeps following through here, that should be, you know, supportive for the market. So I'm thinking that the Dixie now, you know, just like Greg had talked, and I talked about it with a few guests, and now we get the pullback towards this 92 level or so in the coming weeks for a potential right shoulder. That looks in gear. So tomorrow's the 4th of July. We celebrate our independence. And I used to think that it was great to be independent and, you know, you don't need anybody. And the only reason I would want to know what other people were doing was so I could fade them. But I'm a big believer in, you don't have to call it dependence, but collaboration. And you can't do that independently. You have to do that cooperatively. And that's what happens here at ForexAnalytix. I want to thank everyone who subscribed. We overshot our goals for this, and we want to say thank you for your support and being part of our FX community and family, trading family. And for those that didn't, although there are price increases, all we've done is bring it up to where the market is, which still makes it undervalued in my extremely accurate and humble opinion. So kind of a quiet holiday week. We'll be closed tomorrow. Everyone enjoy their barbecues. Be careful with your fireworks. You don't want to blow off your index finger. You need that to click your mouse. So after this, I think I'll just turn it over to Blake. Dennis Geekus agrees with me. Dennis learned a lot from me a long time ago on FX Street, and now he's a very successful trader. So, Blake, how are you today, buddy? Congratulations on the milestone that you as a co-founder of ForexAnalytix should be feeling pretty good about the progress you've made since it was originally just a thought, and then you went through all the grinding work of beta testing and getting it set up, and then adding a webinar and bringing in key people. Congratulations to you, Steve and Stelios.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Thank you. You know, it's a team effort. Couldn't do it without you, Dale. And you know, we did hit a milestone yesterday, and actually one new subscriber is getting 3 months of free data, so, and subscription service. So and Steve will talk about that when he comes on. But you know, this has been it's been a heck of a journey, but it's been something that, coming from the Wise Trade Group and seeing over the years what people need and want, it's been a really great and satisfying you know, I want to say journey over the last couple of years doing this, and it's been great just bringing on an awesome team and you know, great community, building this community, and so we're really proud of what we've done here, and I think that it shows in the work, especially when you look at the platform. This is purely the you know, the child of Steve and Stelios and the tech team that has done such a great job building the actual platform. So I know without them, I would probably be texting everybody what I'm doing, and that's it. So
Yeah.
here's my email address. You know, send me some money and I'll send you out a text message when you know, when I'm buying or selling something. But now we've got all this great analysis platform, and you actually get the text messages, but on, you know, via your mobile device, you get alerts and all sorts of fun stuff. So it's been a hell of a journey. So glad to have everybody on board, and for those of you that are supporting us and that are part of the community, make sure you jump in the chat room, and you know, I'm gonna put up the chat room really quick. And you guys are on Jumbotron right now, and there's 85 of us in here on a day before the U.S. holiday, which is pretty amazing. But I want to say that for those of you that go into the chat room, just realize that, oh my God, hold on, I have to stop. The dollar yen just took an absolute nosedive. What happened?
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's great because I'm short, but what the fudgesicles just happened here? Wow, that was a 20 pip move, short dollar yen. I've been short this thing. We had a tweezer top, by the way. If you use ForexAnalytix, we warned you of a tweezer top just a little while ago on the 4-hour chart when we were trading at 110. 82, yeah, and possible tweezer top 4-hour charts in the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, and the bottom just fell out of it. I don't know. doesn't seem like there's any news. It just seemed like a stop loss run. This is an example of the market being extremely illiquid, and probably a big order just hit the market. But I guess the point I wanted to make regarding our chat room is this is a community chat room, and we're all in here right now, and we all talk about the markets. But when it's slow, we talk about the World Cup or what's going on. There's a lot of chatter that happens, but when the market's moving, the market's moving. So just wanted to let you all know that for those of you that are in the chat rooms, this is funny, Nitish. Anyway, I just want to say, everybody welcome. Enjoy being in there. We're glad to have you as part of the community. All right, so let's talk about what's happening as far as the markets. It's the day before our Independence Day holiday here. Sorry, I was just looking at news really quick, see if there's anything. It doesn't look like there was anything that pushed this dollar yen lower. It just was stops. But I just want to say that for the day before the holiday, there's still some activity, and some of the biggest developments, in my opinion, right now are the cable. I was actually long the pound since yesterday. I got out of it last night at I got limited out at 131.88. So I got limited out probably right around here. We did just push to new highs, but take a look at this descending wedge. And again, if you use ForexAnalytix, you're very well aware this setup. But we're breaking higher, and we really have to break 132.20, and we break 132.20, and the upside should open up in the U.S. dollar Japanese yen. We should have some, or I'm sorry, the pound U.S. dollar. We should have a nice squeeze here in the pound. I think it does look pretty bullish. If you see gold, as you pointed out, Dale. Gold is making its move. Silver's had a nice reversal today. All of this move right now is predicated on the U.S. dollar CNH, which has had the FX market really captivated for the last couple of weeks. You can see the U.S. dollar CNH has been moving quite aggressively, but this move here is probably what moved the U.S. dollar Japanese yen. A lot of people have been saying that the U.S. dollar Japanese yen is following. Here, let's actually do it this way. The U.S. dollar Japanese yen has been following the U.S. dollar CNH to a certain extent, and so as the U.S. dollar CNH is pulling back, the U.S. dollar Japanese yen is pulling back as well. So that's something to pay pretty close attention to, because this the PBOC said they're not going to use the yuan as a FX or as a tool in the trade war, but that's, as I tweeted a little while ago, that's obviously a lie. They've been weakening the yuan or the renminbi for weeks now, and obviously we're starting to see a turn. And somebody actually tweeted back to me and says, well, moving forward, they should have said moving forward. Yeah, moving forward. They've already made the adjustment they needed to make to basically weaken the Chinese yuan to be more competitive with the U.S. in this trade war / tariff / dispute that we're currently entering. But anyway, this reversal here, you can see the yuan was getting really overbought. Relative strength was nearing the spike highs from way back in 2015. I did tweet this chart out yesterday, and we are seeing a reversal today. So this reversal in the renminbi is really weighing on the dollar right now, and you can see the euro dollar is pushing up towards resistance. We still have a lot of work to do in the euro. I actually don't think the euro's going very far, if anywhere, but right now the euro dollar is kind of confined. The pound looks pretty good, and look at the Aussie. The Aussie, there's a good chance that the Aussie might start to make some decent gains here. So the Aussie might recover, because if the the Chinese yuan starts to recover a little bit, that could help risk appetite. It's helped stocks up this morning, and the Kiwi may outperform a little bit here. I'm a little nervous about the Kiwi dollar. We hit 161% extension. We might be bouncing here, but as long as we're below 68 cents, I really don't have any. I don't think we have any reason to be long the Kiwi dollar. Now the U.S. dollar Canadian, it's come off quite a bit from
Some
the
guy on Bloomberg, Blake, was talking about selling it right here.
Oh yeah, the guy.
Remember that guy on
that
Bloomberg?
guy? That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be Joe Perry. One of our team members from ForexAnalytix was on Bloomberg charting futures show yesterday, and I think he's looking at these levels, but I think you can actually let it stretch even a little further before taking a short. But yeah, I mean, I think it gets up to this 67.50 to 67.80, and it might not be a bad shorting opportunity.
Yeah, fade Joe Perry at your own peril.
That's right. No, I think he's spot on by identifying that we are below a major multi-year trend line, in the US dollar, or excuse me, in the Kiwi. And the Kiwi, I'm interested to see where it closes this week. If we for some reason close below 68 cents this week, I'm probably going to short it because I want to get a good weekly close below the support, which we're currently trading right now. So I actually am more interested in where this thing is trading on Thursday, Friday, personally, because I don't think we can rule out dollar strength. The dollar is, I should say this, the dollar is a pretty pivotal area right now, and I don't know if we can just identify that it's dollar weakness coming in across the board, because I look at the euro and the euro doesn't look bullish to me. The euro, not at this point in time. I think if we get above 117.20, then things change a little bit. But while the euro is still trading down here, the Kiwi is still trading down here, I'm a little nervous about getting too bearish the dollar. Now that doesn't mean that the dollar yen can't go down. I think the dollar yen is at risk of a much deeper correction. But that could mean it's not just the dollar yen, it's the dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, all those other yen pairs could follow. But it doesn't mean that that it's going to be if we do see dollar weakness, I don't know if it's going to be universal. It could be, kind of spread out amongst different pairs. So anyway, the U.S. dollar Canadian, this has come back down to support after getting a recovery over the weekend. Recovery since the weekend. We recovered back to 132.10, which was, previous congestion area right around here, and then now we're back down at 131, well, close to 131.50. I think a break below 130.30 will bring us back down to 130.50, which this is where ultimately I want to be long the U.S. dollar Canadian, is right down here. That's ultimately what I'm looking for. I'm hoping I get it. I don't know if we're going to get it. I'm just hoping that the dollar will weaken enough to get a price down there, because I do want to be long the dollar Canadian. You can't lose sight of the idea that we have broken out on a weekly basis, like this big triangle. I think that this pullback is just temporary currently. Now the Swissy, this is a very frustrating market. You can see the Swissy is in a nice little triangle. We have the U.S. dollar Norwegian krona still trying to develop its head and shoulder pattern. U.S. dollar Swedish krona, the bottom just fell out of that, and this is a little worrisome because we didn't build on this this rally. Oops, let me go back to the U.S. dollar Swedish krona. We didn't build on this rally here. So now this setup, this false breakout above these highs, which is a little bit of a risk, and I'm not short either. It's something that
Laker,
yay, Steve.
good morning, mate. We were talking with the coach about that. As you see, this is a three drive formation, right? I mean, three picks, one higher than the other, and RSI diverging in both occasions.
Yeah, and it came off in a classic fashion too. Thanks, Steve. You know, I was saying, you know, what I want to say is about this is I'm not really 100% convinced about dollar weakness across the board, but you know, it's definitely starting to build. And one of the things that's really a key component to all of this, and I know you're going to discuss it, so I don't want to take too much from what you're going to discuss here, is gold. For those of you that did not see this yesterday, let me pull this up. Let me pause my screen.
By the way, as long as you're doing that, I have to say that I also added in the chat the link for Joe's appearance yesterday on Bloomberg, so people can find it there and watch it afterwards.
Okay, yeah. Oh, thank you very much. So this is something that you can take a real quick look at. This is the DSI from yesterday. Okay, so here's the New Zealand dollar at 9, gold, silver, and platinum at 7, Aussie dollar at 11, dollar index at 89. Okay, all of those are extremes. Even the cable here at 13 is pretty extreme. Okay, crude oil at 84 is pretty extreme. These are all extremes. So when you get these extreme readings in the market, you got to start being really careful. And a great example of this is you guys can see what happened in gold. And gold not only had extreme DSI readings, we basically held support. We have long-term trend line on gold cash. Divergent relative strength, all right, which is leading to a gold bounce. Now, how far will gold get in this move? I'm not sure, but you could argue that we just completed an AB equals CD type of move as well. So, and that should go right there. You can argue that we did an AB equals CD type of move on the support. Relative strength is divergent. DSI is extreme. You know, gold at this point in time, we could very easily bounce at 1260, 1280. I think that we could see a pretty severe bounce. So if we get a bounce in gold, that's going to feed into the idea that the dollar may continue to weaken, and that's something that is really making me think that the dollar weakness that we're seeing here may continue. Now, again, I don't know if all currencies are going to be equal here. If it's going to be dollar weakness, you might see it just mostly in the cable, or maybe you might see the dollar weakness filter through the yen, or maybe the dollar weakness might filter through the Aussie or the Canadian. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the risk of a continued bounce in gold is high. So if gold bounces, that will keep the dollar at least in a defensive mode against most major currencies, and that's something that you know is obviously what I'm thinking about today, and it's really playing into what's happening here. Another thing that I should also point out is if you look at the bond market, bonds are approaching support. So if the bond market starts to bounce, yields will come down. Yields come down, that feeds into dollar weakness as well. So, and then you should also be paying pretty close attention to what's happening in the U.S. dollar CNH, and as the yuan is coming off, that's going to weigh on the dollar as well. So if you're long the dollar, you just need to start being a little bit more cautious about what you're doing, in my opinion. And with that being said, Steve, we have, as you had mentioned, we hit a milestone yesterday, didn't we?
Absolutely, a very important one. And we had promised, yeah, that we would, the person that would actually hit that, which we were certain it would happen yesterday at some point, would, get the benefit of, an extra gift, 3 months of extension to whatever subscription they committed to, no matter what it was. And, we have the name of that person, which I'm not going to announce a full name, but, it's Mark, the first name, and, the last name starts with R. I see that he is on the webinar as we speak. And, he subscribed at some point yesterday. So I guess he knows who he is. We're also going to send him an email. We've already extended his subscription by 3 months.
Wow, that's great. So congratulations, Mark R. If you're listening in right at this moment in time, you got an extra 3 months of ForexAnalytix subscription. So welcome to the family. And once again, before I pass it over to Steve today, I want to wish everybody a great holiday tomorrow. I know that it's not, I would say most of you are not in the United States, but for those of you that are in the United States, like Dale said, please be careful, have a safe holiday. I'll be barbecuing with the family. We've got everybody coming over tomorrow, and kids will be in the pool, and we've got, probably 20 people coming over to our house. It's always a fun holiday. Just be careful, play it safe. There's a lot of people like to do fireworks. I'm way past the pyrotechnic stage of my life. I think that happened when I was a teenager and kind of expired once I actually knew how to blow up Claymore mines in the Marine Corps. And after I blew up Claymore mines in the Marine Corps, which by the way I have done, and thrown grenades as an infantryman, I like fireworks do absolutely nothing for me. I look at fireworks and I really have it doesn't do anything for me at all. At least not the consumer ones. The professional ones are always fun to go watch fireworks shows. That's always great. But
so now in your barbecues you have grenades, right? Yes,
exactly. No, we don't do anything. Last thing I want to ever have is a hazard around kids, and I'm way past that stage of my life. So for those of you that are not, and you still enjoy that type of thing, just please be careful. I actually had a friend that lost a finger with a firework, and so it's no laughing matter, because he actually lost his
index finger.
Index finger, yes.
Yeah, and that's what we click our mouse with.
Correct.
So that's why I was saying, do you use your index finger to
everything
enter an order? Yeah. Okay.
Pick my nose, everything. Yeah. Yeah. For everything. So yeah. Pick my butt too. Right. Yeah.
It's a very valuable digit.
It is. I don't know what I would do without my index finger. Anyway. Well, hey guys, happy holiday. We will resume normal broadcasting as of Thursday. We will not be broadcasting tomorrow. Remember, if you guys are really searching for a broker, or you need help locating a broker, make sure you visit Forest Park FX. You can get to their information right from our website. The reimbursement program at the very bottom, you'll have a Skype and email address that you can Skype and email address. You can contact them directly. They will help you find whatever that you're searching for. They're such a great group. I'm so proud to be working with them. And I wouldn't say that about anybody. They're absolutely awesome. So make sure you reach out to Forest Park FX. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and have a great trading day. I'm actually going to make it my way out to the golf course today. So it'll be 110 degrees. I'm going to die.
Enjoy, Blake, and you'll be well baked tomorrow,
yes,
I guess.
Yes.
Don't three-putt today, Blake.
Oh, I'll be three-putting everywhere. Actually, probably quadruple putting everywhere.
Use your index finger on your putter.
All right, will do.
All right.
Bye.
Hey, Steve, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Dale, I'm good.
What a great day to hit that milestone, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be very honest, I was expecting a very, very boring day today, given the fact that tomorrow is, 4th of July, and we're already
Yeah.
seeing from webinars attendance, etc., that a decent amount of people are already like in vacation mode. I guess they had an extended weekend.
Well, it looks like USD SEC is taking a vacation from its uptrend.
Yeah,
What do you
for
think?
the time being. But I do think, we were discussing that before as well on the chat room. I do think that we have some interesting developments. And the first one, and I do think that the vast majority of the rest more or less spill over from there, is what Blake showed. As you very well know, I'm actively monitoring, is the reversal we got in the USD. Yeah, absolutely, which tells a lot, because first of all, it comes from a resistance zone that we were actually looking for. Yesterday, I was speaking about the 670, and today we just like knocked out everybody that was short, and so far we're seeing a very, very big reversal. So now we can be looking for a move down to 660 at the very least, and it's not only that, a big move, and I do think that that was a huge squeeze for people. Not many people monitor it, but it was a huge squeeze, came in platinum. Because first of all, COTs showed us yesterday that there was a all-time record low high actually in speculators that were short this metal. We had a huge move since yesterday. I mean, up until today's lows, that was like a 6.5% move, and look at what happened afterwards, right? I mean, we've already reversed more than half of those after having broken to multi-year lows. So this.
I'm wondering
this
if
looks
it
squeeze,
took out.
and this looks like.
I'm just wondering if it took out that major trend line that Blake was showing, just enough to shake everyone out first before it turned. He had a trend line coming in around, on the gold I'm talking about was 1240. And we got under 1240 by a little bit. Yeah, okay. Went all the way back exactly to that low at the end of 2017. And we were talking 1240 for a while, so.
Exactly, and keep in mind that I've drawn this line several years ago. When I did it, that I actually perfectly at the wicks here.
That other blue line, blue line you were showing underneath it, Steve, that's where I think eventually it's going after this rally here. You had another big long-term line. It looked like it came in around 1180. Maybe it was on your weekly before you got to this. All right, it's gone. No big deal. I forgot where.
Okay, I didn't delete any line.
Okay,
so
maybe that's okay. Anyway.
Okay, doesn't really matter what it's important. What it's important is that we're seeing like a big attempt to reverse. As you very well said, still so obvious that the Chinese yuan would rebound as it's doing today, that we're seeing this big reversal in the USD Chinese yuan, and so it came down and retested yesterday and opened today once again at this horizontal zone, an attempt for it to rebound as well. Kiwi remains weaker than the Aussie.
Steve, can I interrupt?
Kiwi to explain
Steve,
what.
Steve,
sorry,
I don't know what's wrong, but your connection keeps breaking up for the last 2 minutes. So I don't know if you've done something different, but it's very difficult to follow.
No, I haven't.
Okay, you sound better already. You sound better already. Okay, let's keep going and see how it goes.
Okay. Are you sure it's me and not you?
Yes,
no, I heard it. I heard it too.
Confirmed. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I don't know
you're
what to
good.
say. I mean,
now you're good. So just carry on. Better.
Okay.
Martin,
cool. I haven't changed anything since you told me, but okay.
Yeah.
let's move on and we'll see how it.
All right. Show the USD SEC. Come on, man.
Yeah, sure. Before I do that,
No,
let me also,
don't do it at the
before I
end.
do that, let me also
All
show
right.
something that's quite important. Actually, there are a few things. One of them is definitely crude, because crude has caught my attention. There it is. Because of this. So I'm seeing, quite a clear divergence here. This is a 4-hour chart of crude, right? So we are approaching the 127% extension for crude, and I see the possibility of an ascending wedge here. Given, the very, very strong rebound, we actually rebounded from like roughly 63.5, and today we almost made it to $75, right? In almost zero time. So I'm monitoring this closely, because I think it's very, very likely that we're going to see a pullback, at least a $2-3 pullback, to at least come and retest that previous high there. So this is one thing I'm monitoring very closely, and I'm actually looking to take a position here. The other thing I'm monitoring is, I've been talking about the rebound in the treasuries, and how this rebound because we broke out of this descending wedge, we came down, we retested it, and now we're rebounding. But seeing this second rebound on the 4-hour chart, I can't help but notice that it's also like a descending wedge, right? So I really don't like the area below, and I don't like the slow and overlapping nature of this move. I have to say that, this makes me a little bit skeptical that the treasuries might actually produce one more leg higher. Obviously, we have to respect that possibility, as long as we remain below roughly 119. But I am monitoring to see how playing. And this is thing Blake showed it, but I want to show it briefly as well. This is the looked like it was breaking. It might be doing that. So we can come down, retest this triangle, and move higher from there. So that's always a possibility. But on the other hand, if we break that low here, now let me go. It still has the point of rolling over, right? Because, as I was saying, I see it behaving very, very well. But on the other hand, I have to respect the fact that it still remains below this descending trend line resistance. And as long as it does, I have to, remain skeptical of further strength. So I don't want to be buying it, but I don't want to be selling it either. But this is a big trend line to watch. As long as we remain below it, I can understand why somebody would want to look lower, right? And one thing we have to do is that, USD yen was behaving quite nice risk off. Today we actually have risk on so far. USD yen is actually moving inversely. It's quite. We saw that in the very, very recent past happening for a few days again. This kind of a weird, awkward, unused, unnatural, let's say, inverse relationship. But it is what it is. Stelio, is my voice now okay? Dale?
You sound a little bit like the anonymous guy every once in a while. Now you're okay.
Yeah, every now and then you're breaking up, so at points it becomes difficult to follow, but most of the time it's okay. Let's keep going just for a little bit longer, and if we see more problems, then I'll take over. Maybe you reboot your modem or whatever you do.
And no guests today, guys. We have Lydia Thursday and Adam Friday. No one today. Everyone's out buying their fireworks. Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay, give me a second. I'm just testing my connection, but I think it's not that issue. The other time it was just Firefox. I don't know. Okay, let's move on with more stuff.
Your soccer bookie has hacked your computer. because you've been so right.
Yeah.
Can you believe the guy bet that that Japan would lose yesterday? Steve bet that when they were up 2-0. Pretty good, man.
Yeah,
No,
like
I didn't actually bet that. Yesterday, I bet that Brazil. I bet at like the 80th minute that Brazil would actually win with 2-0 instead of 1-0, and that was a good bet. And then I also bet that like 2 minutes before the end of Japan Belgium that actually the game would not go in overtime. So actually one of the two of them would win, in the very few minutes that were left. So that went well as well.
Wow, it's like you could bet on that. Can you bet if someone's shoe falls off?
More or less,
like any kind of bet.
You can almost do that. Just to give you an idea, I think that there are like 35 roughly different bets offered for every single game of the popular ones.
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, I tested my connection. My connection is fine, so I don't know what it is. Let's go back to the cable. I have to say here that the cable is still in a descending wedge. It's still testing resistance and it's still not breaking higher. But I'm monitoring this very closely. We were talking with Gregor yesterday. We said that obviously there is always the chance that this thing can move lower, retest 130, and then resume higher from there. But there's also the possibility that we're going to outright just break out from here. Now, if we go down to a 4-hour chart, as you see, we're actually testing that resistance as well. But let's say to be on the safe side, I would consider more or less a breach of 130 to 30 being the confirmation needed to be looking higher, right? So this is something I'm closely monitoring on the 4-hour chart as well. Now, you wanted to see USD SEC. Let's go ahead and show USD SEC. Actually, we did that. You were at the toilet, but let me show you fast. We saw the big reversal here. I told Blake that we were, discussing that this could end up being like a 3-drive formation, right? So, you want to see it also as an expanding triangle. That's a possibility. Somebody else might want to watch it like something like this, which would make it more or less an ascending wedge. Regardless, this is a big reversal here, right? But it still needs more to prove a point here. Same thing with USD NOK. Can USD NOK be actually within a head and shoulders formation? Yeah, it can. But, is what we've seen so far enough to actually make us say, yeah, this is a head and shoulders formation, it's moving lower from here? No, it's not. It's not enough yet. Okay, so I have to look at both sides of the coin here, and I have to say that as Blake said, I'm not really convinced yet that the DXY weakness we're seeing is like I'm monitoring this since a couple of days ago, last Friday. I'm monitoring this formation in the DXY, and I do think that it can break lower, but I don't have evidence yet to say that, okay, this is going to actually stop, and from this point on, we're going to be moving, all the way down. We might do something like this, right, and move higher again. So I do see a lot of signs telling me that we're going to get some dollar weakness from here, but I'm not sure yet that this is like a tradable high one way or another. Okay, RSI divergence, by the way, on the daily chart, very clear as well. Okay. So let me see questions. Regarding WTI, where should we go short? I told you I'm monitoring at this ascending wedge. On a break below that ascending wedge, I think that the chances of at least $2 to $3 to the downside are decent. That's the only thing I'm seeing here. We have now a question about Aussie yen. Yeah, Aussie yen. Okay. Now, having to do with the Aussie yen. Aussie yen was creating this channel. It looked like a bear flag. It can still but the fact, that we haven't accelerated lower after breaking below it, it's going to start getting worrying if it persists, right? So we're retesting this broad resistance once again, and I can see the possibility of another rejection and a move lower. But on the other hand, if we break back within the channel, I think this becomes a more complicated pattern, and it's going to be too choppy for my taste afterwards. Like if it starts doing things like that, it's still probably corrective, because if we want to look at the big picture, what is the big picture here? That we had a big corrective move higher. Let me mark it here. There it is, right? And we broke down below it. Now, anything can transpire here. I would have liked to see at least one more leg lower after breaking below there, but it hasn't happened yet. Obviously, as long as the Aussie Kiwi is moving higher, the Kiwi Yen remains the best bet. And you've seen that it's actually, it has actually moved a lot more. It has broken down already. And, its next target is at the 73 cents area. Why? Because that's actually the one that move higher. Okay, so this is this Aussie Yen and the Kiwi Yen. What I wanted to also show is the Euro and the Aussie crosses against commodity currencies, because first of all, the Euro Aussie found the next area of resistance that we were looking at two possible areas of resistance. One of them was this one, the 157.50, and the other one was the 159 area. So far today, we're seeing a very big reversal. It will shortly become, if it drops a little bit lower from here, it's going to be a key reversal on the daily. This is a very big reaction from the 159 level. I'm monitoring this channel if we go from here. Let's have a look at Euro Kiwi. You can see actually that if we extend this, is finding monitoring this a possible triangle. So it's still the possibility. So what happens if I do see a move lower from here? Let me mark it from here and finding support here and then shooting higher. This was a triangle. We broke above it. We came down, we retested, we're moving higher. But if we do see a move lower from here, I mean a more significant move lower, I would still, we haven't breached anyhow these highs, I would still be looking for one more leg to the downside. So obviously Euro Kiwi seems like a worse bet to the downside than the Euros it looks at the moment, but still it found resistance in a trend line. It's still below the lows, so this one can extend to the downside as well. Now, let's have a look at the EuroCAD. Here it is. I was monitoring this ascending channel. We're actually testing its support. If we do break below it, I do think that we're going to extend once more to the downside, probably towards 149.50. And pound crosses, pound Aussie. This is like the multiple. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seventh attempt to break above this 179.50 area. 7 failures so far. As long as we're holding this zone, it can begin another leg to the downside. And the pound Kiwi actually finding currently resistance where at a broken triangle's support, right? It's also the 78.6. So this is quite a critical area of resistance. I mean, we don't want, if you want to be bearish, you don't want to see this area being broken. If we do get a rejection from there, we can also extend once again towards the 189.50 area. So I think that these Euro and Aussie crosses, all of them are quite at quite interesting levels. That's why I'm monitoring them closely. As I said, also crude is in my radar, and the metals as well. Big reversals in USD, yuan today, platinum. I think those are things that you should be paying attention to. Now, I don't know what we can expect for the rest of the day because, tomorrow is the 4th of July. We have the World Cup games starting in 1 hour, and that's going to thin out liquidity even further. Of course, sometimes you can see the opposite. Sometimes when you get liquidity thinning out, you get some very weird moves happening on occasion. So that's always a probability. But on the other hand, the most probable event is just to see the moves and the ranges contract and not much happening from that point on. Stelio, anything to add from the macro perspective?
Well, you covered a lot of things. Nothing's changed materially since the last time I had a chat here on the webinar. The thing that has been going on over the last couple of days is we've been getting a few more headlines out of the UK and out of the EU in terms of Brexit and how things are progressing or not. But overall, nothing's changed as far as I'm concerned there. We still the one hurdle that the UK has is still Brexit and nothing else really. Everything else is going relatively okay. Housing market's slowing down a bit, not necessarily a bad thing. GDP is very constant. We're not in a recession, but we're not grinding a lot higher either. Employment as well. So really, the Bank of England themselves have said many times, this is the main obstacle. And I stand by what I've said for weeks and weeks now, is that we are merely one headline away from the pound just spiking higher and never looking back. Because I think that at the end of the day, it's in the interest of both parties to have some kind of an agreement. The UK is not Greece in terms of size. It's the second or tied second with France economy in Europe. So they have to do something. They have to agree on something. I don't know how comprehensive or not it's going to be, but I think the chance of a really no deal Brexit, they're just leaving and, not burning all the bridges and everything. I think that's quite a remote chance. And the market seems to think that it's not. They seem to think that it's, nearly 50-50 probability, which I disagree with. So, that's been happening.
By the way, by the way, I wanted to ask you, USD MXN is still correcting lower. So the MXN is actually still strengthening, which, first of all, from a technical perspective, it is to be expected. I was monitoring this ascending channel. Obviously, the move higher was overblown. And, we're seeing a move lower. So far, we have no reason not to treat it as corrective. But, given the fact that we've now had the election hype cool off, you were telling me that you were reading some comments yesterday from the new president, etc. What is your feeling? How do you feel about the, the new government in Mexico, and how do you think that can end up affecting the MXN in the medium to long term?
Yes, well, I obviously I'm not a Mexican expert, but I have read a lot about what's been happening, and my gut feeling straight away was that we're listening to, before he got elected, we were listening to a potential president who said all the right things in terms of what people want to hear. So he said, I'm going to get rid of corruption, and I'm going to get rid of hunger, and I'm going to get rid of crime and all that, which is all very nice. But in a country like Mexico, particularly, how are you going to do that? It reminded me a lot of Syriza here in Greece, who said, I'm going to get rid of the debt and I'm going to raise salaries and all that. Yeah, all very nice, but there's no way you can do it. So my gut feeling is one of...
And we all know how that worked out.
Yes, and my gut feeling is one of deep worry, because what usually happens when a leftist, populist government comes in charge. We saw Chavez and Maduro in Venezuela. Okay, that's an extreme example, but still, things can go sour very quickly. So I'm very, very skeptical in terms of the peso. And if anything, I would be, if we see a big pullback in USD MXN lower, I would be looking to buy it because simply I just don't see how what's been promised can be delivered, or even part of it. And frankly, I think we were talking about this earlier, Steve. If a president comes in and says, yes, I'm going to get rid of corruption, and he starts actually taking decent steps, it's a possibility that people are going to get get rid of him, in one way or another. So it's very difficult in countries like that, where it's all embedded in the whole structure to change things. So, to answer your question, USDMXN, I'll be looking to buy dips. That's my gut feeling.
And when it comes to U.S. politics, guys, when it comes to U.S. politics, the immigration issue is really not people from Mexico in the last year or so. It's actually, they've been going back to Mexico. Most of the immigrations from Central America, countries that are, completely chaotic. And with what just happened in Mexico, could really cause, I'm in San Diego, a massive migration into the U.S. Down the road, if it turns into another Venezuela.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not the problem, Mexico, although, Trump talks about it. They've been going back. It's been, what are the countries, El Salvador and all those countries where, MI5 really is a government and people are just escaping, looking for asylum. But if Mexico goes down the tubes, it's going to take more than a wall. Anyway, just something I thought about
that's
living
a fair point.
in San Diego,
That's a fair point.
So,
and also our friend, sorry, you're going to say something else?
No.
I agree. I mean, it's a fair point, Dale. Our friend Pedro is asking, what is a good level to buy USDMXN? Actually, my daughter maybe wants to say a good level. No.
She knows.
Yeah.
She knows.
She knows. Women always know.
Yeah. I mean, I personally would want to see. I mean, there's a really nice trend line on the weekly chart, but I would want to see a drop near 1850 or something like that. That's where I would really want to go long USD Mexico. But I think
I think 1926, nice horizontal area of support and resistance. So I would be looking towards that. But we have the 50% fib coming higher than that, like at 1945. So I would be looking for these areas as areas of support. And obviously, as always, a plan for calling like a resumption of a trend or a reversal or whatever else has to include two elements, right? Element number one is have some levels in mind and have a good reason why you think those are good levels. And element number two, obviously, is seeing some kind of a reversal candle. So it's not only just like, having some levels in mind, but also seeing some kind of a reaction that actually tells you, yep, this is an important level and the market treats it as one. So, this is now my signal to take action, right? So these are the levels I would be watching, and equivalently in the USD CAD has actually stalled that at the first area of support we were looking for was this was actually high here at 131. 30. But I doubt that this move higher can just correct with one leg lower, right? So my gut feeling tells me, actually we drew that here on the webinar together several days ago, my gut feeling tells me that it should produce at least one more leg to the downside, perhaps to come down, retest this confluence of supports. Why is it a confluence of supports? Because it's a horizontal support area. It's also psychological area. It's this broken line of resistance that can act as a support. So move at least one more time lower towards the 130 area before actually looking for opportunities to buy it. Okay. So let's see what else we have from questions. Pound yen. Okay, let's have a look at the pound yen. There it is. Okay, pound yen, obviously in some kind of a consolidation here, right? This can be a triangle. Something like this, right? Or it can be some other triangle. I mean, can be something like this, and we might move higher. On the other hand, it can also be some kind of an ABC. I mean, we can see another move to the upside. So in essence, you know, we can reach this triangle's resistance or that horizontal area of resistance and move lower, or we can even penetrate through it, retest this broken trend line support as resistance, and then move lower. Regardless, as long as we remain below this trend line, I would really, avoid being long. Personally, I would be looking to be short and not to be long. Okay, that's from a personal perspective. So I do still believe that there is a good potential we end up having here. Unless I'm more skeptical, we can want to show before getting the Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss likely in some countries. So actually, Euro Swiss, more or less, from a technical perspective, tells me that it wants to move lower eventually, right? So this is what I'm monitoring here, and let's have a look at the Euro Yen. This is the Euro Yen, still within this descending channel. I would maintain a bearish outlook as long as we are within this channel, but I'm a lot more cautious in the Euro Yen, I have to be honest. If I wanted actually to be long one euro pair, one yen pair, probably that would be the Euro Yen, right? So I'm not doing anything at the moment. If we do break above this channel, I will be looking for extension though before lower. Okay. Anyhow, USD-ZAR. Okay, let me cover. Yeah, I know, guys. Something's wrong with my it's not my connection actually. I'm sure about it. I even ran a test. I don't know what it is. I will have to. The other times I had a problem in the past, it ended up being Firefox creating issues. But now I'm not using Firefox, so I have no freaking clue what it is. It just happened today. I'm gonna run some tests afterwards. Let me cover USD-ZAR because we have a friend asking, and then we can call it a day. Okay, USD-ZAR. What I'm watching here in the USD-ZAR is also the possibility of some kind of an ascending wedge. There you can see it before actually moving lower. Okay, so I do see a clear loss of momentum, and I have to take that into account. So I wouldn't be buying USD-ZAR up here. I would first be waiting for a move lower before I decide what I want to do. I need to see what kind of a move lower we're going to get. Okay. Until then, we can obviously get another leg to the upside and then get the next move lower. Right. So this is what I'm monitoring here with USD-ZAR. Indices, yes. Okay. SPX rebounding from 2690. 2690, I've stressed out many times how important it is. Until or unless we break 2690, I wouldn't be able to commit to the downside. I think that this is the critical level. Until that breaks, anything. Any here, Nasdaq still as broke when around. I do think that Nasdaq can still push lower once again. Dow Jones remains the weakest of all the US indices, so there's no question about it. You want to be short something, probably Dow is the best option. And if you want to be long one of the indices, Dow is not. It should not be your preferred choice. DAX is rebounding from an area that we've actually pinpointed very thoroughly. I mean, we were talking about it since last week, 12,100. As long as we remain above that, we have to respect the potential. We have to respect actually the uptrend, which is still prevalent. And the FTSE so far has given us only, an ABC, almost made it to a perfect ABC actually. So I wouldn't be shorting that either after this point, right? So I think that, having to do with indices, we need to remain more patient. This is not an easy trade to make after we go those big reversals. Nikkei is once again trying to hold roughly the 22,000 area, but we are trading below it. I think that another extension to the downside towards the 21,000 area. Why 21,000? Because simply that's the extension of the previous range that we had between 22 and 23,000. So I think that Nikki looks the heaviest of all at the moment. So if I had to bet that something would move lower from here, probably my preferred selection would be the Nikki, right? Due to that double top that we've had. Okay, so that's it. Coach, you want to wrap it up and wish everybody for the holidays, and then I'll see you again on
Who's playing
Thursday.
today, Steve? Who's playing today? The games.
Today we have England play actually
Sweden, Switzerland.
Okay.
Yeah, but the interesting game is going to be the one after that, which is Colombia versus England. I think that Sweden versus Switzerland is a very tough match to guess what's going to happen, because both teams want it very much. It's going to be like an amazing success for whichever team makes it to the final eight. It's something that they obviously didn't expect at the beginning.
Maybe UST SEC is giving us a signal on that game.
You think so?
I mean, you traded that bet, that correlation in soccer, the country's currency.
No, never. I have not.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my secret system. I'll sell it to you for $1,999.99. All right.
Mine. But I think the game we have later, Colombia versus England, is really worth watching, because they're both teams that can actually score goals. And I think from from a perspective of the fan, of the person that wants to see a nice match, it has a decent potential of being an interesting and suspenseful match to watch.
All right. Well, enjoy, and everyone enjoy the holidays. Save your index finger. I don't know, a lot of things we talked about last couple of days are manifesting, so it's nice to go into the holiday on an uptick. And again, I want to thank all of you for subscribing. Dennis, you need to subscribe to ForexAnalytix, and everyone else with him. And have a great holiday. Be safe, and we'll be back Thursday. I'll have Lydia Finkley. She'll update us on everything cable. And then Adam Button will be with us Friday to talk about seasonals for July. His seasonal work's excellent. See you, Ronit. All right, my trading warrior brothers and sisters. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Just being able to hang out with friends and family and have a cold one and some toxic food like hot dogs and everything. It's a blessing to do that. There are no shells exploding over our heads. So peace, everyone. Shalom, and see you on Thursday. Thank you, Steve, Stell, Blake, FA team. You're the best. Adios.